My life experience lends very directly towards this problem. I mean, I spent the majority of 30 years addressing this issue very directly, and I've seen the tragedy that's associated with it and the reality of how frequent this problem presents itself. It's a very significant part of our culture, and although we've made improvements since the 80s, where it was still funny to see people drunk and get behind the wheel of a car, it's no longer funny because we've seen so many tragedies associated with this very serious problem. And the legislature needs help understanding the realities and what they can do and how they can contribute towards either A, prevent this from occurring, and the second would be to attach consequences when it does occur so that we don't have repeat offenders, and so that we can also answer the call of justice to victims. So I have a very direct interest in this as a retired member of the California Highway Patrol. I don't think anybody could speak to it quite as directly as I can, because I not only was a Highway Patrol member, but I spent most of my career working the shift where this is most prevalent. So I really am aware of how big of a problem this is in our culture. One of the unique perspectives I have is I'm a non-drinker. And so when I first came on the job, I was being taught what impairment is and how to detect it, I initially thought, wow, this is really not what I thought, because these people didn't seem to be drunk and still meet the criteria for being under the influence. And I thought, I think we might be a little strong-handed on this, until I saw crash after crash after crash, someone at that same level of impairment. And so I became very committed to that aspect of, you don't have to be drunk. You need to be, it's when you're impaired that you pose this biggest threat to yourself and other people. And being a non-drinker, it was an eye-opener. And I will tell you that not everybody understands. I don't believe most people get behind the wheel of a car thinking they're posing a threat to themselves or other people, but they truly, truly are. And that's the message we need to try to send to people on a preventive note. And if not, especially these repeat offenders, they know, but yet they don't have the control that they need to have. So we need to give them tools like an interlock device that allows them to understand, hey, this is not the time. You can't drive in this condition. We're trying to attach more accountability, and generally speaking, I don't want to lose the listener. What they need to know is what we're trying to do is attach consequences. And I know that people get uncomfortable with that, but I'm telling you, when you lose a loved one, there needs to be a consequence for that, and there needs to be some accountability for making that poor judgment. And that's the part of justice that I think legislators are very uncomfortable with, and we need to wrestle with it, because it's a reality. And it's the part of justice that in the last 20 years, I think that people well-intended have lightened consequences to the point to where it's empowered people to make poor decisions. And that is where we're mistaken, and we're not answering justice.